is merely a split second when Zachary's rhythm is put to a halt. Greetings, my beautiful viewers. I am the Hunter of Comedy, and welcome back to The Letter. So, last time we started as Isabella, and then just when she was about to be attacked by a horrible monster thing, we switched to Hannah. Or Hannah, or however you want to pronounce it. Either way, I am not happy about not knowing what happened to Best Girl. So guess what? We are gonna find out what happened to Best Girl, hopefully. So they bought the house. Hannah and Luke bought the house, and I don't know why I'm doing circles here, but I am. And now Zachary has come to take pictures of the house. So let's see how that plays out, shall we? Oh, hello, Zach. God, you're beautiful. I love this man. He's amazing. Zachary proves quickly enough that I can, in fact, trust him. His skills with the camera and experience in this industry are... his skills with the camera and experience in the industry, at the very least. Just checking. Still doing great with Luke, I'm doing good with Marianne, and everyone else is just regular. He is kind and courteous, listening and following as I lead him around the house. A really nice fellow, and he treats our household staff well whenever he crosses paths with them. I answer his questions to the best of my ability, and he is patient enough to answer mine whenever I get curious enough. For one, I ask what the bags are for. They are quite the magician's toolkit. From inside, he had procured several items to embellish the interior with. Bowls of fruit, lemons, trays with pepper mills, stacks of cookbooks, cutting boards, and glass canisters filled with colorful nuts and grains are brought in for a kitchen setting. For the bathroom, there are white towels, seashells, and decorative soaps. There are other things as well, too numerous to count because I don't need to count, I have people for that. All in that large backpack and suitcase.
Tricks of the trade. Softens up a room, makes a place feel more homey, and fills it up with texture.
Yeah.
But you guys probably have better stuff I can use for this.
No lights. Don't tell me all of these are just props.
Well, I've got my tripod here. For things like these, natural light is best. I'll just have to set the shutter speed to a real slow setting, and as long as nobody steps into the shot, it'll look great.
Oh, it better.
We go through the rooms one at a time, although we first tackle the ones that the movers had no business in anymore. Oh, the ballroom needs little preparation with this grand design. It's a very nice room. I've noticed that every light fixture sways in the wind, even though there's no wind. It's so... creepy. Although there is some trouble at first with the wide open space and the pictures being backlit. It is in the kitchen that Zachary's props come in handy, considering how Johann kept the place so neat and sterile, one can practically eat off the floor. We carry on touring the house and taking pictures where we can, with the exception to the rooms which have yet to gain any purpose or design. Too bad I can't take a sneak peek at his photos yet. Funnily enough, he is using a traditional camera. I didn't even know how film still existed. The sounds of the camera do not sound, they sound like a film camera. They do not sound like I'm sorry. They sound like a digital camera and not a film camera. But it's a small, nitpick. With the way he speaks, however, I can see that he knows enough about his craft that I'm not too worried about botched photographs. I imagine photography must be cathartic for him, judging by how at ease he looks while taking pictures. There are small snippets of conversation in between the clicking of the camera. He even goes far as to talk about terminologies like shutter speed and aperture when I ask about the technical aspects. I can't quite see the picture as it is made, much like when I watch artists paint on their canvas. But just watching someone passionately practicing their craft such as this is exciting in its own way. Going through the many rooms has quite the experience for both of us. Ooh. Despite that, he has been so nice, and I find myself putting on my best smile. It is as we're taking pictures in the foyer that everything comes to a standstill for a moment. Yeah, literally. Just a moment. And, had I not been paying attention, I wouldn't have even noticed. It is merely a split second when Zachary's rhythm is put to a halt. His finger doesn't move to release the shutter button. Yet he also doesn't pull the camera away from his face, gaze still firmly fixed through the viewfinder. His hands shaken, there is a light sheen of sweat on his forehead. Oh my god, what the fuck?
Zachary?
No response.
Zach, is something the matter?
Lowering his camera, he blinks and stares at something behind me before shaking his head. Turning around, though, I see nothing that could have gotten his attention.
Oh no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something, that's all. Let's get back to the pictures. Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
I struggle to respond this time. Oh god, that guy, like, how did she not notice that thing, like, wrapping its hands around her neck and, like, poking her face with its bloody fingers? How did she not notice that? She's rich, she doesn't notice anything. She has like a -5 to her perception rolls. There's a sudden weight on my back and an indescribable tightness around my throat. Everything stops. And everything starts again as I manage to choke out.
If you're sure.
I don't know what just happened. It was probably just a dizzy spell. No! God, why doesn't anyone listen to Isabella? God, I hope she's alive. God, I really hope she's alive. I hope nothing bad happened to her. But I mean, like, it's been several days since the thing happened to her. Because, like, the thing happened to her on, like, the 24th? And this is, like, the 27th, they said? Like, it's been, like, 3 whole fucking days, man. Although, if something bad had happened, I'm sure Zach would have said something. Oh, man. Oh, jeez. Don't let Best Boy Zach die. I love Best Boy Zach. I'm fine. He said he's fine. We continue at the same pace as before, although there is an unspoken agreement that we will not talk about what had happened.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
Nah, I just freelance mostly, for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job. It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least, not all the time.
What is it that you want to do then?
Maybe I've been out of line sticking my nose into other people's business, but I can't help but ask. I regret doing so, as I see his shoulders slump and the easygoing air he has fades away. He looks torn over whether he wants to talk about it or not.
Films. Documentaries mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right? I was working on this thing, actually.
What thing?
Well, it wasn't really a big thing.
It was a big thing, Zach! You worked hard on it!
People didn't like Blue Fonzie very much.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Very funny.
So, Grand Director, do you want to tell me what Blue Fonzie is all about?
He hesitates. But when I refuse to budge on the matter, he gives in and spills it all out. Bleu foncé, l'air la plus sombre des nerfs Britanniques. I am horrible at French. Dark blue, the darkest hours of the Black British. He speaks with passion of one who has gone through the very matter he is concerned with. There is conviction, knowledge, and experience in his speech. Why, I would have told him that he is an amazing speaker, if only I wasn't so engrossed listening. Prejudice and discrimination, in schools and in the workplace. Lesser chances for opportunity and higher chances for being treated like a criminal. He spoke of blacks and people of color in general still being treated like second-class citizens. Sadly, he's right. It happens a lot, especially in our country right now. There's a lot of horrible things that happen all over the place that people just aren't treated fairly. Stereotypes take all precedence, and it's just wrong. It's sad that we prove stereotypes to be true by reinforcing them. But this isn't the place for that. We're here to play a fun game. All because of the color of their skin. It is all just positively riveting. And sad. It comes to a point where he loses steam. He looks abashed, realizing what he has just done.
Sorry, I just got so carried away and...
It's fine. It is really so fascinating to watch people talk about their passion after all. You should see how your eyes light up when you speak so fiercely. You do have very beautiful eyes.
He does, doesn't he? Thank you, Hana.
Uh-huh. Thanks, I guess.
I want to say that I understand where he's coming from, but I really don't, do I? I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I've lived a charmed life. It hasn't been perfect, but the difficulties I've been through pales in comparison to what others experience on a daily basis. I actually like Hana more for realizing that and not like diminishing it. I like her character. I did not think I was gonna like her character. Watch by the end of the game, I'm gonna like a lot of people's characters, but I mean, Luke may be the only one I'm not sure if I'm gonna like him by the end of the game. I certainly don't know how I would have fared were it any different. Would I still have met Luke, and would he still have loved me if I were any lesser?
What was your home like? These things you talk about. It sounds like well, I don't mean to pry, I mean.
Live with my older sister and my grandparents. We had a shop selling all sorts of things below our flat. And well, I was one of the few non-white, non-British students in class. I didn't get pushed around or anything straight up. Even then, I was one of the biggest kids around, but a pencil and notebook would go missing, you know?
Oh, that I knew. Children can be so cruel at times. Of course, it may be a slightly different story when you have personal guards, and the item stolen is not a pencil, but an expensive heirloom.
So what about you? How you liking your new house? It's pretty impressive.
It's nice, I suppose.
You suppose? Not big enough?
What? No, oh, don't be a bully. It's just that.
I understand if you don't want to talk about it.
I was a little girl, all dolled up and treated like a fragile porcelain, with nursemaids waiting to me hand and foot. All the material possessions anyone could ever want, I could ask for on a whim, and it would be handed to me just like that. But I barely saw my parents, just goodbye kisses in the morning before they went off to who knows where they were needed next. I saw them more often on the telly or in the papers than I did in person.
I remember my old house. It was a lot like this one. Big walls and big halls, but nobody in it. Not really. It makes you think how alone you are.
A pensive mood overcomes us. And there's a moment where neither of us are sure how to go on from there. Things have gotten a bit too personal, yet it isn't wholly uncomfortable. Like as if we've just become friends before.
Well, that's normal, ain't it? You just moved here. You'll make home out of it yet.
Oh, Zach. It certainly makes it easy to believe that. My childhood house is indeed a lot like this one. just as large and extravagant, and just as empty. I hope he's right.
So, Monsieur le Photographe, you've covered the one and only Ermengarde Mansion.
Oh no, this is the place with the attic! Oh god, no!
What's next on the agenda?
The interview?
Boring. It's an interior design and housing magazine.
And they want to know what Miss Wright has to say about her interior design and house.
Honor Wright thinks she bought a magnificent house that she can certainly brag about. Blah, blah. Boring. You know what they should print more of? I watched an interesting documentary the other day. Bleu Foncé, the darkest hours of the Black British. I recommend you watch it. Those are the things that people should know about. What do they care if I use a purple or green bowl of fruit in my kitchen?
People, right?
Oui. People are shite.
Yes, they are! People are shite!
What do you think? Do I look good with this angle?
I strike a pose while he's, being busy. Looking taken aback for a moment, probably not expecting me to go and say such a crass word. But he recovers quickly, and after snapping a few shots, he grins.
Yeah, vous êtes belle.
Oh, I like that.
You want copies of these ones?
Yes, please. So, the big boy knows French. You must have wooed a few ladies. Unless you're into gents. Either way, French is, after all, the language of romance.
Oh, I don't know about quoting fancy poetry, but I've made lunch for a girl before, and they did like that fancy French cuisine.
Can you cook your best?
I can cook just about anything as long as I know the recipe.
C'est magnifique.
God, I love this. It's so good. I'm enjoying it so much that when the scary moments come up, I'm like, no, go away. I want to enjoy this. I know that they're making like an offshoot of this game, not like the same people are making it looks like a harem romance thing. I believe I showed like a little clip of it at the end of the first episode. I don't really know what that's all about. If that comes out, I might play it just because I like this a lot. God, I wish there were more like visual novel horror games like this, because this is fantastic. And the fact that the whole thing is voice acted, oh my god, it's amazing. I mean, because here's the thing, is like, this is not just like a couple of lines. This is like an entire full scripted game that this indie developer put a lot of time into. So, Yang Yang Mobile, you guys did great, and I will give this my stamp of approval because I haven't even finished this game. I'm nowhere near close to the end, but I fucking love it. Ah, it's great. Sorry for rambling, but God, when I play a fun and interesting game, it makes me feel fulfilled. I love it. It has been too long since I've had a nice and proper chat with a good friend. No, Lee is certainly not a good friend. And although we've just met, Zachary is the sort who can probably befriend anyone. Zach is awesome! Zach is best boy! He's just a comfortable person to be around. A bit too comfortable. The photo shoot went by a breeze. And somewhere along the way, we talk and laugh, and I find myself getting a bit too close without realizing. He'll give me this strange look until I back off, and he'll go back to questions after I agree to do his little interview. It's just odd. Well, no. Maybe being friendly isn't the term. This is how I am. Zachary is the one being odd. Why, anyone else would absolutely welcome the extra attention I give them. He, on the other hand, looks almost flustered about it. He should be used to different personalities by now, having to deal with various people when he works. And if not, he needs to start. Perhaps nobody has shown him attention of this kind, but he's a big boy. He should be able to handle me. That's what she said! Yeah, like, here's the thing, is that I don't think she's specifically trying to come on to him, and I don't think that he's, like, reciprocating. I really don't. I think that it's literally just, like, she's very open and friendly, and it could easily be interpreted as, like, oh, I'm interested in you sexually. And I think that he's, like, kind of getting those vibes, or misinterpreting those vibes, and just kind of being like, okay, that's nice, man, but I just take photos. All it is a friendly touch here, and a pretty smile there, and gentle swaying of the hips as I move around. Zachary grew more and more red every time he noticed. Am I being mean as I find enjoyment in seeing him unravel? Perhaps. No, you are. You definitely enjoy making the boys, loins get a little tightened. You definitely do that. You're a bit of a temptress. Not a horrible person, but yeah, you enjoy making people flush over you. This went on during the interview and beyond that. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing, right? Zachary and I are just having a playful, friendly chat while enjoying the outside view. At least that's how I see it.
I'm sorry, but I'm really getting distracted. Could you maybe stop doing that?
Stop. Save time. Oh, I'm out of spaces in number 2. Okay. I will stop, because you need to know when enough is enough.
I'll stop if it makes you uncomfortable, sweetie.
Yay! I made Zach feel better, which is exactly what I wanted.
Sorry.
No, I should be the one apologizing. Why, you're a shy one, aren't you, big guy?
It's not that, but...
He gestures to the ring on my finger and lets the fact of the matter hang heavily between us. Being told implicitly that I am too forward is not a common occurrence. I think I'm more stunned at the fact that he pointed it out, rather than, well, being rejected. Not that anything is going to happen between us in the first place. It was just going to be some harmless flirting, right?
So, you've never had a girlfriend?
No. No boyfriend either. Just in case you were gonna ask for that one next.
And you haven't even had your first kiss?
Not a one, ma'am.
Do you want to have your first kiss today?
Oh, God, why? Why would you do that? Why? That is so mean. That is so mean. God damn. Here's the thing. I've had my first kiss, a long time ago, but, it wasn't under the best of circumstances. It was kind of a situation similar to this, and I felt horrible about it afterwards, and so, yeah, I see a lot of me in Zach, so no. I can't help it. I really, really can't, and I'm going to apologize lots later. But surely, by the catty smile on my face, it's obvious I'm just pulling his leg. The laugh I failed to contain certainly gives it away, if it still isn't obvious. But still, he lightens up in embarrassment, stammering and sputtering objections.
You're married, and this will be extremely unprofessional.
I never said I would kiss you, silly. Oh, Johans!
No, what? No. Don't call your butler. She's Hannah.
That would be for the better. I don't think his husband would appreciate it if I made him kiss another man.
Ha! Johan has a husband! Awesome! We're learning so much about people.
I do not think you can hear us from here either. But it is hard to think you're not taken, Zachary. Why, whoever becomes your girlfriend will be so lucky to have you. You can cook and take wonderful photographs, wonderful meals, and wonderful memories.
I can play guitar too.
I love you, Zach!
You can? Oh my. Wonderful serenades as well then. Perhaps I can find a young lady who deserves a fine, strapping young gentleman like yourself.
Let's not get carried away. Besides, I gotta be going. It's getting late and I got someplace else to be.
A shame. I will be expecting you again soon, I hope. For a copy of my photographs, yes?
Of course. I'll even deliver them personally.
Oh.
Just, don't try to make me kiss your butler when I drop by.
As fate would have it, the moment the words leave his mouth, Johan comes out of the house. Judging by the slight raise of his brows, he has heard only the tail end of the sentence.
There shall be no kissing of any butlers under this roof, Danke.
But you're not under a roof, are you, Hansi?
To my amusement, he takes a step back, safely placing him within the threshold of the foyer and under the roof of the house. I love Johan! Johan is so awesome! Best boys are on the screen together! God, they're so cool! And just as ever, he is quick to return with a sardonic reply.
I am now. As I was saying, madam, it's about time for supper. Will I be needing to set an extra place at the table?
Oh, what? No, I was just leaving, actually. So, you have a good night, Hannah, and you too, Hansi.
It was nice to meet you, Zach, honey. You have a safe trip.
He nods, and the grin on his face... That's a weird sentence. He nods, and the grin on his face, as we say our goodbyes, is the sweetest that I have ever seen. Oh. I linger, looking out for him with his relatively tiny bicycle, backpack safely secured in the basket in the front, and suitcase hooked to the back. I watch as he went down the path back to Anselm Village until he is nothing more than a blip in the horizon. I cannot help a small smile on my face as I go inside for dinner. Supper, whatever. Entering the dining hall causes me so much confusion. It is dark. Why? No. Oh, it's the 26th. Okay, so it is just 2 days. I thought it was the 27th for some reason. Hannah met Zachary Steele, a freelance photographer from Luxury Living, an interior design magazine. Zachary was tasked to interview Hannah and to take pictures of the mansion and its new owners. What should have been a professional meeting ended up being friendly and perhaps too personal. For a moment I thought the electric work is not up to par. But that is clearly not the case, as every room is bright with artificial light. Finding the light switch is a monumental task, considering the size of my unfamiliarity with the room. To make matters worse, the darkness grants the room a different atmosphere, eerie and frightening. It takes longer than I thought to find the switch. Something that will have to be rectified later on. My skin starts to prickle, and there is the distinct feeling of being watched. It unsettles me, only spurs me on in my search. When I do turn on the lights, there's a hiss.
I'll turn the lights down, woman!
Ah! There at the end of the hall is my beloved husband with his face in one hand and the glass in the other. Perhaps I can let it go if it's only one glass of wine. However, I can feel myself go livid as I see the toxic green liquid gleam mockingly at me.
Luke, what? Are you drinking absinthe? You know what the doctor said. Absinthe, Luke. Are you actively trying to kill yourself? Because if you are, we can just hit you with a bloody car.
Honeybee, Buttercup, not too loud, please. Besides, it's Lelouch, not too strong. Just hair of the dog that bit me. Helps with the hangover, dearest.
You drank? When?
This morning, love. Don't be mad. I just needed a few drinks, having to deal with those simpletons. And maybe I had one too much. You don't see me whinging about you leaving me to handle them on my own.
I had to attend the photo shoot and interview with Luxury Living. You know that. Let's not make this about me, Luke. This is about you and your drinking problem and...
Oh, I don't know, Hannah, darling. What if my drinking problem, as you like to call it, is linked to you?
Oh, God.
If we think about it that way, this discussion is about you. That was pretty mean of you, leaving me alone to do all the work like that. You can't use the interview as an excuse either, honey. I was informed the moment your little interview was done. So, what was it then, What were you doing?
I'm not going to lie to him. What's it going to be? Should I tell the truth or tell a little lie? I have a feeling that if I lie to him, it's going to get worse, so I'm just going to be honest with him.
I was talking with Zachary, the photographer for Luxury Living.
Okay, I'm still doing good with Luke, but he's obviously not going to be happy. I have no reason to tell lies. It's not like I am guilty of anything. But as Luke's expression turns, he makes me feel like I actually am to blame for something. He has a way of making me laid bare with just a look. That had really struck me when we first met years ago.
That giant Negro?
Oh!
You were having a secret meeting behind my back and it was with him?
What are you implying?
I'm implying nothing. I'm just worried. You know better than to trust those media types, Buttercup. He must have been really friendly to occupy your time like that. But all he's looking for is his next big headline.
He's a photographer for an interior design magazine.
Doesn't matter. You let one little thing slip, one wrong move, and it'll blow up in the telly in the morning. He'll go to his journalist friends to gossip and make a quick quid.
His eyes were the first thing I noticed about him. They were like nature, the grass and the trees, wonderful and breathtaking. Now as I look at him, they're nothing but the same shade of green as the bloody damn drink in his hand.
He was a perfect gentleman, Luke. I can't say the same for you as of recent.
Excuse me again? We're talking about you, Hannah.
No. I am pretty sure we were talking about you and your drinking problem, Luke, Wright.
Hangover forgotten during the course of this little spat, the man jumps to his feet and seethes. It looks like he is barely stopping himself from throwing the nearest thing he can find.
Oh, it is not a problem. I can stop whenever I want.
Which is what everyone with a drinking problem says!
And even if it was, I think you can very well stay out of it, as it only affects my own kidneys or liver or whatever the bloody hell that shite pollutes. Whatever aftermath that occurs because of your little chit-chat with the Negro affects the both of us, however.
Look, Luke. Nothing will happen.
I'm sorry, one moment. Okay, sorry about that. A little notification popped up and I wasn't expecting it to. I thought it was supposed to turn off notifications. Oh well, it doesn't matter.
You have to relax. It was just a friendly chat.
Well, now I think I'm getting jealous. Or I would be if it weren't for this damn headache.
Maybe you should drink more.
Maybe.
Supper is spent in silence with nothing but the occasional sound of silverware. A grand feast has been served. Well, grander than usual anyway, most likely due to Luke's complaints of stress. A platter of native oysters for starters, and a truce of turbo with purple sprouting broccoli, lemons, capers, and anchovy sauce for mains. That does not look appetizing to me. I'm sorry, but it does not. That looks good. Oh my fucking god. To finish it off, black tea and golden syrup sponge pudding with custard. Oh. When our appetites are appeased and the plates are cleared away, Luke stands, kisses me goodnight, and leaves to stare at his half-empty cup. Lovely in the lull of night, I sit in a house too big and too empty and foreign and unwelcoming. Even with its warm tone and homely decor, it feels cold. There is no need for tears, however. I know I can get through this like every other obstacle I have faced before. This is a minor setback in what I hope will be a long and happy life. To remind myself that this place is for Luke and for our future children fills me with a renewed vigor. Besides, it looks like someone is having a cry already! Oh no! Oh no 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 no! Very bad! So very bad! The wailing is far away and muffled. Yet at the same time, it shakes me to the very core as I hear it. As if the suffering is just standing right beside me. Hearing it sends a chill down my spine and makes my skin prickle with goosebumps. Who is that? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no 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 no! Oh no 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 no! I'll read that later. I'm sorry. Oh no, we gonna save. Oh no! Oh no! You're down there, aren't you? No, do not go down there. Put a weight on top of that fucking thing. Curiosity sinks in as I follow the sorrowful sound to the kitchen. Into the wine cellar hatch.
Hello? Is anybody down there?
I am curious and concerned, but there is no way I am going down into a dark and humid underground. Good job, Hannah! Good job! I'm not as enthusiastic as Luke, who considers himself quite the connoisseur. However, I cannot bring myself to go to bed with this racket going on. Oh my god, no! It is as if it is one of the household help, they will surely need some talking. After all, this wouldn't be the first time I've gone and found one of the maids sobbing their eyes out over one thing or another. As professional as our staff are, they are still human. You're not a horrible person, Hannah, but this is the time to run! More often than not, it was either Johan or I who'd calm them down, who'd help them figure out how to go about things. Unfortunately, I am not in high spirits right now, so I am not as hopefully benevolent. Oh no! We are not opening that hatch! We are not opening that hatch! We are not! I knocked 3 times! We are not opening the hatch! I knocked 3 times, waiting for any sort of reply. Yields me no results. I've already touched the floor hatch too many times than what I'd like. I take a deep breath before reaching out again to whoever's inside. I'd learned from experience that people respond better to kindness than threats, Shouting angrily would not help in coaxing them out.
You, in the cellar. Do come out. We don't want Luke waking up and finding you in there, do we? That man would go ballistic thinking someone was trying to steal his precious wine.
Still nothing.
You can have a good cry. Just not in there, yes? Why don't you come out here and we can have a cuppa and you can tell me all about whatever it is you're bawling about?
With how long I am standing here, however, I'm starting to think myself a fool. I did not want to acknowledge the other feeling I have, especially as the wailing took an eerie turn. The thought of being played with didn't sit too well with me, and I had to stop myself from getting too hot-headed as I try one more time.
Now you come out of there! That is an order from the lady of the house, do you hear me? Why, I ought to...
Oh! I freeze as a hand clamps down on my shoulder. The dread I've been feeling all this time makes itself known as I kneel, unmoving, not even daring to breathe. I can feel my heart pounding against my chest, oh my god! But the touch is gone as quickly as it had seized me. Oh, it's only Johann, I see when I look back.
Apologies, madam, for touching you like that. You were not responding to my voice, and you looked about ready to wake the whole mansion up.
I'm sorry. I was getting rather loud, wasn't I? But that crying woman in there, we must do something about her.
He grows silent for a moment and just looks concerned. At least I'd like to interpret it as concern, given how stoic our head butler usually is. Or rather, it must have been concern, as he takes off a glove and presses the back of his hand at my forehead before his worrisome inquiry.
I beg your pardon. What crying woman? Are you feeling well, madam?
In the cellar. Can't you hear her?
Madam, Hannah, no one is down there.
What?
The cellar is locked. Only Luke and I have duplicates of the keys. Nobody is down there.
I stare at him in disbelief. When I listen once more, I hear no crying. Tugging at the latch for good measure, prove his words are to be true, too. Thing won't budge unless I had a key, short of using power tools on it.
Perhaps it is time for you to go to bed, madam.
Yes!
You are simply tired and hearing things, a perfectly normal human experience.
Yes. Is this your first night in the house? Oh my god, this is their first night in the house! Oh fuck, no!
But if you are still experiencing auditory hallucinations in the morning, you are free to consult with me.
Okay, Johann, broski, I need you to stand guard, overnight. What? I know it's crazy. I do not understand why you want me to do this. Just do it! I need it! I'm scared right now, man. Scared of everything. Scared of people. Scared of death. Scared of lots of shit. There's a cold feeling in the pit of my stomach as he helps me to my feet. What he says makes sense, and who am I to question someone who used to be a doctor? I'm just tired, that's it. Long day of moving, the interview, dealing with Luke, has all drained me of any proper sense.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I just need some sleep, that's all.
Of course I'm right. Go on then. Gute Nacht.
Good night, Johannes. Good night, house.
It's just fatigue. That's what I keep telling myself, although I can't ignore the strange feeling in my gut. Oh god. Either there is something wrong with this house, or there is something wrong with my head. Sleep will be elusive tonight. Friday the 28th. Okay. I still haven't heard about her. What has she been up to the last 1, 2, 3, 4 days now? Is it Friday? I think they said it was Friday the 28th. Holy fuck. Luke is already gone by the time I rise. There isn't a single hide or hair of him to be found. Trying to call him on his mobile is a bust, as it only goes straight to his voicemail. That's twice in a row he's gone on me. And for him to disappear today, of all days, is every bit upsetting because of what's to come. The morning is once again filled with a whirlwind of activity. Fortunately, I am much more refreshed as I took a break from my responsibilities. I have the faintest clue where Luke was yesterday. Today is going to be a busy day, although unlike Wednesday, the master of the house isn't here right now, absent once again from his duties. Hopefully he'll be back in time for the party. This is our house, after all. A ground housewarming party for the wonderful Wright mansion. Every person of importance from Luxburn is invited, and there will be a few guests flying in as well. Of course, there will be some people from the media, along with friends and acquaintances who are made no less important, regardless of their status in society. Marianne and I discussed business and last-minute touches to the house before finalizing everything. Not that there is much change from our original plans. Bar any huge additions to the property itself, the mansion is nearly 100% complete.
You have certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
Well, I can't take all of the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the Wright mansion. There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom.
Luke and I had a small tiff about making the second bedroom into a children's playroom, which I insisted is completely practical. In the end, he had to acquiesce. I didn't give him any choice in the matter. I even bought this wonderful wooden crib from the antique store yesterday, including some toys. We're gonna have a creepy child's room to deal with. Great! That's exactly what I wanted! Just in case anyone brings their baby, of course. Besides, we have little need for actual guest rooms. We hardly have guests who spend the night. If we absolutely have to, we often choose to foot the bill for their visit on one of our hotels instead, always at Luke's own insistence. And on the off chance we actually let someone stay, the bedroom in the opposite wing is still up to the task.
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned. I already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables. He may as well let me have this one thing.
No, I do not agree to him having a helipad.
All right, then. Well, do we have any other concerns? Anything we need to put on our agenda before the party commences?
No, I don't think so. Not unless Luke has anything else to say.
Is he around then? It'd be best if we can note down his request right away, considering the scope of his usual ones.
Around? Nope. Where is he? Who knows where? I don't.
No, he's not around.
She didn't have to point out the obvious now, did she? After 7 long years, I'd already gotten used to him. I should be by now. Still not, apparently.
But don't you have a party?
I want nothing more than to complain, to whine about how unfair it is. However, airing out one's dirty laundry is simply taboo among high society. To do so will make you a ripe target for the next dinner party chit-chat. Vultures, the lot of them, really. Or most of them, at least. They're always good ones, like Rochelle Lee. But put your trust in the wrong person and you'll find yourself eagerly picked apart.
Yes. But Luke's just being a sweetie, you see. That friend he's visiting. He's having marital problems and he's just trying to cheer him up.
Perhaps I'm being a bit too rash, a bit too hot-headed in divulging details. But I thought myself clear with the plan to dress it up as gossip. Marianne's raised brow makes me unsure whether she is interested or not. Although that does make things better if she has no interest and therefore has no hidden intent to utilize whatever I may say to her.
They've been married for a long time and they've hit how do they say it? A rough patch. His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband, but it's never enough for her.
Oh my god, it's completely... She's just describing her own situation, but reverse.
Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark. What do you think?
You were asking for my personal opinion on the matter, ma'am?
Oh god.
Do you want me to be honest, or...
I got a good relationship with you. I don't want to ruin that. You can be honest with me. Well, let's save. We save before every decision.
Be honest with me, Marianne. I don't need someone to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, Marianne doing good.
I'm not some fragile thing that I'm just going to break down at the slightest thing.
She hesitates, taking a sip of her coffee while I stare into my own cup of tea. The silence stretches on. I almost believe that she'll never answer my question. I suppose I shouldn't blame her, putting her on a tight spot like this. Her hesitation is understandable, though I loathe to admit it. She simply wants this whole thing to stay professional. But then, she speaks.
If I'm going to be completely honest, I need to ask. This is about you and Mr. Wright, isn't it?
It's my turn to hesitate now. I really didn't expect such a straightforward question. And to get to the heart of the matter? I suppose I'm not as clever as I'd like to think. Or is it really that bad that an outsider can see through our little marital troubles? Surely we aren't that obvious, are we? We put up the act as a perfect couple for years, although it hasn't always been an act. Marianne is just more keen than the average person, of course! It is necessary to her career, and she's been working so closely with us. Yes, that's it.
Suppose it is. What would you tell me?
Then, I tell you it's none of my business. I tell you that I don't want to meddle, but if the troubled husband with the neglectful wife asked me for my honest opinion, I'd say that he shouldn't base his happiness and his self-worth on someone else. Someone who won't even give him the time of the day. Maybe he should try being independent for a while. See what it's like when he isn't trying to please someone else and doing things for himself. Everyone's supposed to be their own man or woman, right? A bit of breathing room never hurt anyone. That's just my 2 pence worth, of course.
So you're saying they should divorce?
Nothing as drastic as that. If they're afraid that it might lead to just that, then maybe that is what's meant to happen in the first place. We shouldn't let our fear control our lives, but it's just a short hiatus is all. Or, couples therapy? Look, I'm really not the best person to ask about relationships. So grain of salt and all that.
She trails off, having said her piece, and leaves nothing but the smell of coffee and Earl Grey between us. There is a calm despite the nature of what has just been discussed. To say that her words make me start to think is an understatement. To say that I'm not considering her advice is a lie. And to say that this might just be the calm before the storm is a possibility. Others have had shorter marriages, yes, but plenty have celebrated long and happy ones as well. My own parents celebrated their choral anniversary before they passed away. But 7 years? 7 years isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. I mean, it's just like the same amount of time I was in college, which was like an entire section of my life, so no, it's significant, not like the most significant. It's not like, if we were to combine all my educational years through high school and college, yeah, that's a lot, but I mean, like 7 years, it's a good distance, but not too long. It isn't a whole lot of time to see what and where our relationship can bring us. And at the same time, 7 years. Well, it hasn't been entirely made up of unhappy years, has it? It won't last forever. It's not supposed to, anyway. I just dread the thought that it might not last for a very long time. I dread the thought that these small spats, these little disagreements, will turn into all-out resentment. The idea that we will grow to hate each other with every fiber of our being scares me. I can't even pinpoint the exact moment when our blissful union turned sour. We can get through this, right? I know that I still do love him, and that I feel that there is still a part of him that loves me in return. We need to get our heads together and talk it out. Surely he will see some sense. There's a cough before Marianne clears her throat. It must have been quiet for so long, I move to apologize when she stands up. We both end up on our feet, unsure of how to proceed. Some sort of odd, awkward shuffle occurs as we decide whether to sit back down or not.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party. Oh, you really must, Marianne.
I'll try to stay and chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies. Busy, busy, busy.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least. If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
We'll see. So, if I can be excused?
Certainly. You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive, because believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
The scene outside the parlor is a great organized mess. Oh, let's read more of this. Oh, that's not bad. This was a couple of days ago. I never read this because of the crying lady. During supper, Hannah and Luke, drinking absinthe, she found Luke drinking it, and this caused an argument. Hannah was angered by her husband's drinking problem. Luke was suspicious of his wife's actions, having not seen her the whole afternoon despite finishing, Luxury Living's interview early. And then there was the crying woman, yeah! Okay, nothing happened on this day. Hannah and Marianne were seen discussing the mansion's finishing touches before the housewarming party. On a whim, Hannah asked for Marianne's opinion on a certain couple having marital problems. It leaves the former with something to think about after the latter excused herself from attending the party. Aside from our own household help, we hired the service of the temp agency which provides staff for Wright Enterprise in the hospitality sector. Even our very skilled staff cannot undertake a party of this size on their own. Waiters, busboys, hostesses, and their staff captains move out in droves, carrying crockery and serveware good for several dozen people, and then some. Chefs and bartenders tail after Johann, looking like scared little children as he escorts them through the kitchen and into the wine cellar. To peruse the stocks, to select what can be served at the party and what can be used for cooking.
Schnell! We have a lot to do, and I believe we did not hire snails. Snails are for the dishes.
Yeah, because you eat snails, escargot. A string quartet readies to play up for the evening, turning their instruments as they fill the air with idle chatter. Floral decor where thousands fill vases, wreaths, and baskets while petals are scattered along the driveway up front. Oh my god, I want that so bad. An ice sculpture of a reindeer is brought in carefully by a pair. It is followed by a simple cake. That's simple, that's amazing. Just a 5-tier white chiffon one with white chocolate mousse, fresh berries, and a light dusting of edible gold leaf. Oh my fucking god, I want that. I want that. I need that in my mouth right now. And I don't get that because it's in a video game and I'm in real life and real life sucks. But despite the fact that I told Marianne how I will attend to all this, I find myself unable to focus or care about any of it. I still have our discussion running in my mind, and looking at all this, I only see Luke everywhere. These are all the grand things that Luke wanted to have for the party. I wanted a small, elegant, and simple gathering with only a select few invited, namely the people who I would actually trust to enter my home. I did not want any bloody politicians or paparazzi in here, no matter how used I am to catering to them.
At least be here for your party. Damn it, Luke.
Oh, the entire thing screamed Luke Wright. And I can't help but add another question to my growing list of queries. When did I lose myself? It's always about him nowadays, isn't it? What about Hannah Wright? What about Hannah Evans? I used to be my own woman, who made her own name, her own career, and her own decisions. Sure, I was already the social butterfly that I am today, but it wasn't all empty, shallow gossip and sitting pretty. I was also lauded for my knowledge and talents. Finance manager wasn't just handed to me just because my father owned the company. I had insisted that I start at the bottom so I could work my way to the top and prove myself. And I did. I worked numbers, managed budgets, money and accounts, analyzing the competition and market trends. There was the calculation of of financial risk, cost reduction opportunities, auditor liaison, and public relations supervision of staff, and... Well, I ran out of breath. I got so involved I ran out of breath. Well, I generally had a slew of responsibilities. Admittedly, I was already quite the attention seeker even back then, having dedicated most of my youth craving my parents' approval. Failing that, I turned to others, looked for praise from anyone who would give it, however fleeting it was. And Luke, oh Luke, the way he looked at me, the way he watched me and took a genuine interest. He had me disgustingly obsessed since day one, hasn't he? He saw me for me, Hannah Evans, with both my faults and my achievements. The man didn't treat me like some damsel in distress or some prize to be won. I remember the nights before we were married when we talked about everything and anything. From big things like business, society, and philosophy to little things such as what we had for breakfast or whether we liked cats or dogs more. We both prefer dogs. Nowadays, I'm just Luke Wright's wife. It's mostly my fault, isn't it? They told me that husbands preferred wives who were docile and subordinate. Women who'd always be there for him, yet would never outshine him in all aspects except beauty. A wife needs to be at home and attend to his needs, to have children and to take care of them in his absence. They said I have no business working anymore after I was married. I blame society. But I listened. Before I can fall further into this introspective pit of self-loathing, someone calls for my attention.
The guests have arrived, madam.
And Luke?
Running a bit late, I'm afraid.
Late for his own party. That man, I swear. He's probably looking to make a dramatic entrance, knowing him. Open the doors, then. We mustn't tarry.
Cars line up in the driveway, peppering the front of the mansion with vehicles of every kind. Grand tours, supercars, even the high-end muscle car or two. Convertibles, grand saloons, and other luxury cars can be seen, being parked by the valets. A handful of cabs drive off, possibly for those who thought it was too troublesome to bring their own cars. There are at least 2 different media vans as well. But all here for what may be considered the biggest event of the year for Luxborn. So far. Who knows what we'll plan for the winter holidays?
Welcome everyone. Please, make yourselves at home.
Don't do that. They'll have sex in your bedroom. That's not okay. I mean, I'm okay with that, but you are probably not. Some of the guests idle, enjoying the warm, if not strange, sunshine we are experiencing, before glooming skies inevitably return. They greet acquaintances and friends with warm smiles, others less so. From where I stand, I can see the hierarchy of power, the ties that bind these individuals here, whether through convenience or necessity. However, there are also a few who are not here to further cement their place in high society. Such as a young man with his oriental air, ignorant of the looks he receives from women and men alike.
Be careful with Shirley, alright?
Or that rose-haired woman talking on the phone while she looks unsure of why she is here exactly. Why are they there? I'm not upset that they're here. I just want to know why they're here. And where is Isabel? Tell me Isabel's alive!
Yes, I'm at the party already, Mom. Yes, I'll say hi to her if I can.
I see Zachary, the photographer, as well. He talks to a few of the other media crews with an air of familiarity.
I was just here a few days ago, yeah. And the inside is huge, but the staff are pretty helpful if you get lost.
I had invited Father Norman, too. It's the least I can do after he blessed the mansion on my request. Aside from my small donation to the church, of course. Wait, he blessed the mansion? So wait, the mansion's been blessed! And yet the ghost is still here. We fucked! We fucked, man! Oh no! but the poor man had taken ill and went through a nervous breakdown of some sort the other day. Oh my god, the ghost got to him too, didn't they? Then there are other people like the chief inspector. People who I can never be too sure about. People who stand on the border of being suspicious and being trustworthy.
Thank you for the invite, Anna. Husband still missing, I see.
I should be saying the same of your darling Rochelle, Lee. The doctors again.
She told me she'll just be in the gardens. Bet she's lying and that she's somewhere around mingling, gossiping with the other ladies. It's no offense, but that seems to be all you ladies do at these parties.
Oh, fuck you, you're an asshole!
And aren't you gossiping right now?
Yes, well, what about Luke? Should we file a missing persons report now, or do you want to wait 24 hours?
He's around.
You know, I can tell if someone's bluffing. Don't tell me, let me guess. He's finally drunken himself to death and not wanting a scandal. You've hidden his body. I was wanting to give this housewarming gift to him personally, too. It's a plate that holds a wine glass so he can stop killing himself with liquid lunches. Looks like it's too late for that.
Nothing like that. Besides, this is a hardly polite conversation.
Yeah, you're kind of being an asshole, dude. Oh, strike the kind of. You're just being an asshole, dude.
Oh, relax. I'm just trying to be cheeky to lighten the mood. It's not like I want Luke dead. The man doesn't serve dodgy plonk like the others when I visit, and he pays his respects well enough. I could use a glass of wine or 3, actually. Rochelle's been in a horrid mood. Threw her stilettos at me the other day and almost took an eye out.
You probably deserved it.
Not sure if this is how it usually goes, but I blame the pregnancy.
I blame you being a dick.
I wouldn't know, would I?
Still no plans for a baby? Well, I guess that's for the best. If it's this bad now, I can't even imagine how bad it'll be when that little baby bump becomes huge.
Have I mentioned how much I don't trust him and how hard I tried, and no matter how hard I try to do so? At least he brought a gift, I suppose. A gift that encourages more drinking. Oh joy.
Why don't you just go inside and have some wine, Lee?
Think I will, thanks.
Greetings such as these carry on as the guests continue to trickle in. Whether we have short conversations or merely shake hands and nod heads, I make sure to attend and welcome each of them. As the first hour passes us by, the rest of the stragglers and I adjourn to the ballroom. Any latecomers will have the attention of the porter instead. I have other duties to attend to now. Hosting parties is always the same old song and dance, no matter how big or small it is. You make sure your guests are well fed, have good company, and have them generally enjoy themselves. So when my opening remarks are done, when the band has started to play and the guests have started eating, I find myself wandering around aimlessly unless I am pulled aside. For a while, I stay with a small group and entertain them before excusing myself. And then, when they're not anymore watching me, I end up watching them. When they don't listen, I do. A local banker is having trouble with his daughter. He wishes to marry her off, but she wants nothing more than to make music. One of our hotel managers worries about the stolen belongings of one of his patrons, a failing in security which should be brought up to his higher authority soon. Our mayor, well, his cat died. That's sad. I feel sad for him. I like cats. Then there's that rose-haired woman again. It's hard not to notice her with her distinct locks. She also lacks the grace that the other ladies have, though that does not make her any less beautiful. And her stance and the airs she exudes instead are strong, and they make her stand out despite her casual attire. Many men have already given her their attention, though each invitation to dance has been turned down. I approach, intrigued, although it is no great mystery that occupies her attention. With the glances she keeps sending towards the boy with the oriental hair. She remains unaware, though, even as I stand beside her, pretending that I am there for a drink.
You would catch his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think?
Didn't realize the housewarming was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew.
Oh, you're fine, dearie. It's only really the parvenus, those who climb, that come to these parties all dolled up. Quite the black-haired beauty, isn't he?
Boy comes over, but I do nothing to speak any softer. He merely passes by. It is a wonder he doesn't hear what I say.
Who, Ash?
You know, you really shouldn't have turned down those offers. If I wasn't married, I'd happily go dancing with those young men. But you said a name. Ash. That's the exquisite lad you've been looking at all this time. I don't know him, and I'm the one hosting this party. That must mean you know each other. Is he your boyfriend then? Because that would explain those rejections.
Oh! In all my life, I have never seen a face grow red so fast. Oh my god, I love it. Although I'm worried bad things are gonna happen. The shade of her hair does not help as well. This is the most pink I've seen on a person, really.
What? No, that's ridiculous. He isn't my boyfriend.
You want him to be, though.
Such a violent reaction. A simple no would have sufficed. Many here would be happy to hear it.
And I haven't been looking at him.
You've been staring at him, actually.
That's right. You've been staring. Quite heatedly, in fact.
God, I love the fact that, like, I say something and then the characters just fucking say it for me. I love it.
Although I'm not sure if you look like you want to kiss him or kill him.
Probably a little bit of both.
It's more the latter, currently.
Just don't go murdering him on my property.
God damn it. I'm sorry, but, like, all I can think is, like, someone's gonna die here. It's not gonna be funny later. It's funny now.
I don't want to walk into a room and suddenly find a body there.
I waver as I feel the burning of someone's stares. It is chilling, and though I am used to enduring the gazes of others, this one makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Ah! Oh, what are you doing there? Hello, why are you here? And right behind her! This is bad. This is very bad. My attention is pulled from the girl and I see a woman staring. Dark hair and dirty, she looks like a beggar. She looks more like a beggar than a guest. I have half the mind to call security at her when her mouth breaks into a grin. All I hear is her laughing. Taunting. Her stare makes my blood run cold. She looks at me like I am nothing but a pig to slaughter for her amusement. Makes my hand shake and I nearly drop my drink. But then in a blink she's gone and the buzz of the party returns.
I'll keep that in mind, but... Are you alright?
Yes, sorry. I just thought I saw something strange. It must be the trick of the light. Anyway, on a right, as you must already know.
Rebecca Gales.
Gale.
The name is familiar, like a fond memory. I recall a kind lady, a private tutor who treated me like her own daughter when I was young. She'd even bring me food when there was no need to do so. Usually stovies, which I honestly hadn't been too keen about, though I ate them nonetheless because she brought them for me.
Oh, the professor! And your little Becky!
My parents couldn't make it since they're in Scotland right now. And Mom says hi, by the way. But yeah, that's me. Little Becky. We met once before.
Yes, oh, I remember you! You were the cutest little thing with glasses! And when we met, you were having boy troubles with this lad called something with an A. What was it again? Aaron, Alan, Adele, Albert, Alexander, Andrew?
Ashton! The more I list off names, the more red and the more quiet Becky gets. She starts to look a bit miserable as her body language shows discomfort and stiffness. Perhaps I have triggered a horrid childhood memory. Surely I hadn't been mean when she visited with her mother. I don't quite remember all of it.
Ashton! Ash! That man is that boy! The same one. Oh, goodness me, after all these years! I can see why, though. He's quite dashing.
That he is!
You don't really need to announce it to everyone with an earshot, you know? Keep it down.
I'm so sorry, but it really is cute.
Go after him! I support you in this! And a tad bit sad.
This is a nice party, Miss Wright.
Please, Anna's fine. We're friends of a sort, aren't we? We must be friends, seeing as I know about your little infatuation, Becky. Don't you worry, dearie. You'll have your happy ending yet.
I don't know if that's true! Don't say that in a horror game! There are so many things that could go bad! Knock on wood!
I'm not too concerned about that, am I? That's not what I'm looking for.
You're not looking for a happy ending? That's not good.
Oh? And what makes you think that? Doesn't everybody want their happy ending?
It's true.
The idea of happy endings sounds like they're just for fairy tales. And they are, sorta. I don't think you can just sit around, trapped in some tower and hope for the best. If you love them, you have to fight for it, right? You're not just going to sit there and hope that everything will just fix itself on its own. Like everything, you have to work at it.
And this is what Hannah has not been doing. So, yeah, it looks like she's learning.
But what do I know?
A good deal. There's a grimace, although she starts to relax around my presence. How long has it been since we met as children? Certainly a long time. She was tiny back then, if I recall correctly.
I'm sure the daughter of the two greatest professors I've ever known is smart enough to know what she's talking about. But have you told him how you feel? And it's been what? 20 years?
Oh my god!
17, actually. But no, not yet. He can be a bit dense.
Yeah, especially when he's pining over Isabella, which I don't blame him. I love Isabella as well. She's still best girl.
I was hoping that maybe he'd notice on his own and...
Well, that won't do. What if you two become husband and wife? He's not to be dense when he's sworn himself to another person. Why, you might just as well consider leaving before the day's even begun.
If that happens, I'll have to give him a good ear bashing, won't I? Whoever anyone ends up with. It's not going to be a perfect relationship anyway. There's going to be things you'll love and things you'll hate about the other person. We're just humans.
Yep.
It's funny. Here I am, trying to give you advice when you did the very same thing back then. I remember you giving me a makeover when we were still kids. And you were the first I told anyone about my... crush.
I do remember that now she mentions it. Did I give her that yellow sundress or the pink blouse and petticoat? She must have kept some of what I said in mind. It seems ridiculous remembering all of that years later, talking about boys and how they go crazy for pretty girls, as if some gospel every woman should adhere to. It's so easy to say such things then, with me not knowing any better. Though, looking at her now, she must have kept some of what I said in mind. Perhaps I did say something good at that time, enough for her to take it to heart? But all that doesn't matter in the moment as I mull over what she's just said in my head. What Becky told me is very different from what Marianne told me. There is no time to ponder over that, however, as a hush descends upon the once lively crowd. The music of strings and the clatter slowly grinds to a halt as the doors from the foyer opens. The last of the latecomers should have arrived moments ago. Anyone else this late would simply be too embarrassed to show their face. So it can only be one person, or rather, one man. There's only one man who is audacious enough to arrive at his own party so late.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Enjoying the party? I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the Wright mansion.
Unlike I, who was raised in the spotlight and simply grew used to its presence, he sought it out every chance he could, even when there was no spotlight that shone. I'll never put it against him, when he smiles like that. He did so quite brilliantly under the scrutiny when he channels his showmanship. You can tell by the way people's eyes light up as he speaks. How they listen, enraptured, even if all he's doing is a simple greeting. A little wave of his hands, they hear, and a little smile there, and a bit of swagger. I always tell him that if he's not to be a businessman, he'll do well as an entertainer. I love this side of him, especially when he looks at me and he beckons me over to humbly share his place. Not a single second is wasted as I excuse myself from Becky's side and I make my way to Luke's.
Welcome, one and all, to our humble abode. Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are all ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen, if you would excuse my presumptuousness. So enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses, as we only allowed the best to be served. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone.
There's a round of applause, cheers, and even hoots! Hoot! Hoot! Guests approach us left and right to shake Luke's hand and greet him personally. Praise is on their lips. It is because of this that I do not see her. I do not see her until she is dangerously close, with fury in her eyes, and she's already spitting venom. Johann restrains her. I thought it was the ghost lady, taking care not to necessarily harm the pregnant woman. That does little to deter her rage, and the man has no choice but to let her go, lest an unborn child is hurt. What happened? The Wright Mansion officially opened its doors with a grand housewarming feast. Zachary Steele, Ashton Frey, and Rebecca Gales were attending. However, what was supposed to be a day of merriment turned sour when Rochelle Lee, the chief inspector's wife, accused Luke of fathering her unborn child. Oh my god! Although it might be too late for that, as I see an empty glass of wine in her hand. How much is she imbibed in?
Are you feeling ill, Rochelle? Perhaps you need to sit down and...
No! Shut it, you munter! I ain't talking to you! I'm talking to this scumbag over here! You bloody bastard, standing there with your smarmy smile!
She interrupts me, jabbing her finger in my direction before she rounds on Luke. Even as whispers and murmurs break out among the guests, all I can focus on is the heat of the moment. Obviously intoxicated, judging by the smell of alcohol on her breath. I'm not ticked off about this little display of hers, at least not yet. But I am absolutely pissed by the fact she's endangered her own baby by drinking. This is a considerable amount of restraining grace that I must exercise while I wait for her tantrum to subside. I keep a patient, if tight, smile on my face. Luke's expression, on the other hand, is indecipherable.
Watch your tongue! You're on thin ice, Rochelle. Where's your husband? Who even invited you?
I did.
And I told you with great emphasis not to. Now we have a drunk, hormonal, pregnant woman causing a stir. What is even going on?
I am just about to ask that exact same thing.
I don't know. But Rochelle, do calm down before you hurt yourself. I can't understand a word you're saying.
Where is that husband of yours? Lee! Collect your wife right now!
Don't you fucking talk like I'm not here and you're not responsible, you ass! You told me that I should wait for you in the gardens!
Excuse me. What is this nonsense you're going on about?
Crazy talk. That's all it is. Just completely and utterly mad. Has anyone seen the chief inspector?
I am pregnant with your little bastard. You promised me you'll take responsibility.
Oh. I mean, we're not like, because the journal entry, not like we didn't know it was coming, but damn.
God damn it, Luke. I finally got you to talk to me after months of silence, and you do this to me.
What? What?
What do you mean you're pregnant with? Luke, is this true?
Lies and slander, woman!
Lies and slander, woman! My god, his voice is amazing and I love it!
Security! Johans, take her out of here before she makes an even bigger fool of herself!
No, you do not do this to me. I was so ready to leave my stupid oaf of a husband. I told you to leave that damn wife of yours. Look at her. Does she look like she wants a baby?
She does! She genuinely does!
Does she look like she could take care of a baby?
She can! She's a capable woman! It is now that Johann returns with security along with a concerned-looking Officer Lee. They surround her and move to escort the hysterical woman. Judging by her pale face, he has heard the whole thing and feels nothing but pity for the man.
I'm so sorry for her behavior. She's been under a lot of stress and the alcohol.
And you really shouldn't drink when you're pregnant. That's also very bad.
Talking nonsense, that's all it is. You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking?
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
Because he's German. Nothing to say here, people. Move along. God, I love his voice. It's amazing. Is there really nothing here but the ramblings of a drunk? Yes, that's right. There's no way what Rochelle says is the truth. What she says doesn't match up. I know Luke. If such a scandalous meetings are to be arranged, he wouldn't do it in such an exposed place, especially not near his precious flowers. And he definitely wouldn't promise responsibility of a child unless it can be helped. Besides, Luke will never... He will never go so far as to sleep with another woman, right? Okay, fine, who am I kidding? If I'm to be completely honest with myself, he might cheat. With a bit of temptation and a bit of alcohol, he just might. Doesn't that just make my blood boil? To even think of the slightest possibility of infidelity? Lee isn't too far off when he told me how Luke still acted like some young hotshot bachelor. Oh, no. I think that this is probably the best place we can end it for now, because I'm not sure what I want to choose for this one, man. And, oh my god, just seeing my choices. Just seeing my choices. Just, definitely not the best. Definitely not the best, choices I could have here. But, either way, thank you everybody so much for watching. I appreciate you being here with me. Dear God, between, like, the drama and the scary bits, like, I'm enjoying the hell out of this game. Sure, this game doesn't have quite as much polish as, say, something like Deathmark. But it definitely has its own unique air about it, and I definitely am enjoying every little bit of this game, and... Dear God, I don't know what I'm going to choose next time. This is not going to be an easy call. But, either way, thanks again, and until next time, have yourselves a beautiful day, my beautiful, beautiful viewers!